Hello, everyone. We have a word from our sponsor, so sit tight and we'll get to the cast. This summer has a high record heat. Walking outside has been rough. I personally walk outside and work outside for a living, and it has been rough out there this year. But one of the best ways I keep hydrated is with Liquid IV. You just rip a packet, add it to water, and drink it down. I personally like the watermelon flavor because it is actually really good compared to a lot of the sports drink I had, and it's not too sweet, which is nice. Another thing that's really nice about it is 3 times more electrolytes, which I always seem to be struggling, especially in this heat. So 3 times more is very noticeable on those hot days. So you can get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code NERDBS at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code NERDBS at liquidiv.com. Remember, all lowercase, and thank you for listening. And now let's move to the cast. Hello and welcome to another episode of Nerd BS. I'm Alan, and we have with me 2 wonderful buddies of mine who have been on here for almost every episode, lots of episodes. We got Tomas over here.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
And Kyle.
Hi there. I am keeping count on which episodes you've been on, and
Yeah,
there's a lot.
It's like DKP. I mean, do you guys know what DKP is?
No.
All right. So DKP is a WoW term that's been kind of adopted in other MMOs, and essentially it's dragon kill points. It's raid points. So you get points for showing up, you get points for, and then you get to roll on loot. So I'm glad you're keeping track, Kyle, so we can decide
Absolutely.
on when the treasures come, we can start divvying them up depending.
Exactly. That's what I want. I mean. Yeah. Anyways, I'm glad to be here.
Those treasures. Yes, those treasures. You guys do anything exciting this week besides video games or events? Not besides events. Any events?
Well, not this weekend per se, because it started.
Well, it was last 3 weeks, because we've been 3 weeks since our last cast.
Yeah, but like it started I think probably 3 weekends ago. So Imogen and I just saw John Wick 4. I had seen them all.
You just saw it?
I had seen them all, but she
okay.
hadn't seen them all, and so I sat down and
You watched all of them with her? Nice.
We finished the 4th one this weekend. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
What did she think?
Good. She liked it, although I mean, and it's the same for me. It's just that by the 4th movie, they have had to up their stakes so much that it does kind of get a little wonky, like a little funny. He's dropping from buildings. It's bulletproof.
Well, yeah, he's a superhero. He's essentially a superhero.
That's
nice.
Right. Yeah. But like the first one is still my favorite, and it was her favorite too. The first one is just such a visual. It's so great because we don't have a lot of movies like that, and it's just visually. It's one of those movies. It's like Unbok for me, where you see some of these moves and you actually like.
Yeah,
Unbok was so good.
Yes, Unbok. At least the first one. I don't know about the other ones.
Yeah, the first one was good. The other ones started to run off.
When he threw a baby elephant, what are you talking about? That was
a baby
elephant.
I love the John Wick franchise. I love the first one. The second one I feel like was Definitely not as good, but still really good. The third one was definitely, I think, I still feel the weakest, but it also seemed to have the most story. They also, I
Uh-huh.
feel like they kind of blew their load right at the beginning. That knife fight in 3 at the beginning is just like so fantastic that everything else that
Yeah,
comes
it was
after it
really
is
good.
just like, oh, okay, well, nothing's going. It's like it reminds me of X-Men 2 with Nightcrawler. It's like
Oh,
when that
Nightcrawler,
happened,
yeah.
it was like, all right, this is amazing, and then nothing
And then
compares
Oh
to the
nothing
yeah,
beginning.
could come. Yeah,
that
nothing
wasn't.
could even
Yeah,
come close.
I guess you'd have
Like,
finished with
yeah,
the
Yeah,
Nightcrawler
with
scene.
yeah,
that.
for sure.
So, and then the fourth one though, I felt like was fantastic with Donnie
I
Yen
like.
and
There's something that there would. It's not that I don't like him or anything. It's just that yes, by the fourth one, you're like, all right, this is a superhero movie now.
it's
Like,
always it was always a
eh,
superhero at the beginning.
I don't
It
know,
was always ridiculous, man.
eh,
Dude
but
was getting
there's a
hit by
level.
cars.
Yeah, but
He's over the
he starts
place, man.
dropping off of like 6-story buildings and stuff.
I guess it wasn't that extreme, but their budget was a lot less as well.
Yeah.
And they do have to up their ante. I mean, and 4 was
No, I
supposed to
know.
be the end. I mean, even Keanu Reeves
No, I
was
know.
begging Lionsgate for that to be the end, but it's sounding like it's becoming less and less likely. I mean, at least
Yeah,
Keanu Reeves is essentially said that he wanted that to be the final John Wick
yeah.
film, at least with John
And
Wick.
and no, you can definitely tell how they keep upping the antes in each movie, and that's why just by the fourth one, it's just like I don't know. And falling down those stairs, man, I feel so bad for him in that one.
And
Like
I
it's just
love that.
over.
he's no spry chicken, dude.
No,
He's an
he
old
isn't.
man. He's literally
He
like
isn't.
an elderly man. Like I
Yeah.
think
He's in his 50s,
60?
right?
Oh,
His
50.
60s?
I,
His
Is he in
60s?
his
I
50s?
thought he hit 60
It's very
like
possible.
recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll get a fact check on that and we'll circle back.
Either way, he's definitely past his midlife or
Oh
in his
yeah, he's
midlife.
59. Shit,
Yeah,
he is 59.
so
I didn't. He's actually
he's
aged
close.
really
Yeah,
well
he's
then,
close to 60. He's right. He's pushing there.
because
But yeah,
I
he
wouldn't have
can't.
pegged him for 60. I wouldn't have. I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
Yeah, no, in a good way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. But he is in fantastic physique, and he's those movies are fantastic. The show
And
didn't do so hot.
apparently
I
he's
haven't
a
seen it
nice.
yet. There was like a hotel show that came out. I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
I heard it
Well,
wasn't
and
that great.
apparently he's just a nice guy too, which just adds to it.
Yeah,
But,
that always adds to it.
There's a
Yes,
John
there.
Wick show.
Yeah, well, it's not it's called The Continental. I'm pretty sure it was on
yeah.
Stars, I want to say. It was,
thought it
from
was
what I heard, not that great. It was probably, I think, in the 5s or 6s and ratings that I saw. It wasn't
Yeah, 'cause,
anything
I mean,
crazy.
because
Well-
everything needs a franchise now. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
a multiverse.
Yeah.
Lionsgate's trying, but they can't seem to get any good franchises like a hook. Like, they did Godzilla, which is, I mean, what? They have
which I
3
think they should
films?
just focus on because they could do great on that.
I mean, I agree, but at the same time, I know there's a lot of weird rules with Godzilla franchise. I don't know what it all entails because of the relationship with Japan and whoever's in charge of it over there. So it's like it's basically they have to get approval on a lot of things, from what I've understood.
The
Mhm.
other
I
thing
can see
is,
that.
if you name something the Continental, all I think of is Key and Peele and that stupid skit. And so I'm already out. Well, I'm not out, but like I'm just going to be thinking of that stupid skit. That's hilarious. I say stupid, but it's really good. So that's that's on them. You can't name
The
it
skit?
Continental.
What am I missing here?
Did you watch Key and Peele?
Oh,
Did you
it's
watch Key and
been-
Peele?
I
I
do,
don't remember it.
but
in
I
a
don't.
while.
I guess I'm not getting the reference right now. I'm not
Oh,
picking
okay.
it up.
It's obviously it just stuck.
Is it
with
the
me.
valets?
No. It's
Oh,
the guy that goes to the continental breakfast at the hotel.
Oh yeah, okay, I remember.
and,
I know
and
what
he
you're talking
just
about.
and he's like
He's
he
just
starts
going nuts over it.
yeah, he's so excited over like cereal and
yeah,
a
like all the
banana.
things you can have, like a waffle, and
Yeah.
he's just like mind blown. Like,
I mean,
yeah,
I kill continental breakfasts. I mean, at least when I've had them in the past. They're fantastic. I usually overeat for sure, but
So you're the guy. You're
I'm
the
that
guy.
guy. Yeah, I'm that guy. Yeah, I love the waffle machine. My waffle machine does not
Yes.
work like their waffle machine. It is their waffle machine is fantastic. My waffle machine is much slower and doesn't seem to. It just doesn't have that commercial appeal, I suppose.
Well, on that topic, we got a construction vehicle waffle machine for my son's birthday, and so that's what I've been doing this week is eating real good because it does work really well.
I forgot about that. That's great.
Yeah, you
Those
like
little,
that little segue?
little waffle, those little waffles. Yeah, that's right.
Dude, it's great because you can fill up the
Well-
pickup truck with syrup or honey, and it's like just the perfect amount. You just scoop it right up in that
Well-
in the bed.
Well, you know what else is a great segue with waffles is that if you turn a W upside down, it's an M for Mario, right? Was that one good? I think that was a good one.
That was a
I-
good. That was a
I
good.
think-
That was a good one.
I
Good
think that
try.
was. I think that one
I
was
mean-
definitely.
I mean, why don't you just go with Wonder?
Yeah, I know.
Because
Wonder
Mario
is
just
the
keep-
actual title.
Yeah, but Mario is first, right? It's Mario Wonder.
So before
you
we
got
just float on
Wonder
this
Mario.
weird circumstance that we got onto, me and Kyle have been playing Super Mario Wonder this past weekend because I think it only came out on Friday. I think is when it came out.
Yeah.
I definitely haven't played as much as I would have liked, but I have got to world. I want to say 3 or 4. So I'm about halfway into the game right now. How far have you gotten, Kyle,
Oh.
so far?
You ended up hopping into my game, and that's as far as I got. So maybe about as half as far as you.
Yeah, so you
Maybe
got
not.
into. I think we got into World 2. I think is what we got.
Yeah.
Is it hitting that nostalgia itch for you guys, or?
I mean,
Uh,
yes, but at the same time, this is like a new game. It's very unique in its own right. The powers are different. The gameplay kind of feels a little. It feels definitely. I don't know. It feels really tight. I don't know how you're feeling. It doesn't feel floaty like Super Mario World as much.
yeah. World, I would fall off a lot when I was playing World.
Yeah.
3D World.
It's
but
definitely.
this one, the controls are really nice. Like I noticed that right away. Like it just
Yes.
felt great.
I think it's got to be
And
60 frames, right? I feel like it's 60 frames, which feels good. But I'm gonna look it up to make sure.
probably,
But I don't know if
'cause
you.
I wouldn't be surprised because it is a side scroller, the 2D. So unlike Zelda, the 3 giant Tears of the Kingdom, that has a giant world that needs to load all the time. Yeah, this one probably can handle that. It doesn't really feel nostalgic, surprisingly.
Yeah,
it does
even though
feel
it's a side
new.
scroller and everything.
Yeah, it does feel new. It's very different, and then
All right, Super Mario. Never mind. Keep going. They added what?
They added badges that allow you to do different powers when before you go into the level, right? So you can have the big giant cap that lets you float. You can get the swim one that gives you a speed boost when you're swimming, and and it gives you recommendations. Like we recommend you use the swimming one, the dolphin one, before you go in here. And you're like, okay, I get it. There's water.
So wait, is it like Donkey Kong where you'd like ride different animals, but instead of riding them, you become them, or like
you don't become them. It's just a badge you add, and you have different abilities. But you do become an elephant, which is like their main, like that's their big draw for this one.
Yeah,
which Alan and I, we both talked about. And it's like it's okay, it's fine. I like the other, like almost every other thing he's turned into. I haven't seen
the drill yet, but I do like the elephant, but it doesn't feel as it feels heavier, and it's definitely not as tight. I still prefer the firepower or the bubble power. I've been enjoying the bubble power too. I still lean on the firepower whenever I can, though. I don't know. It just seems everything seems to work just fine, and then you get a little boost of flame. I haven't done the
Yeah.
drill power yet, which is the other one that I know is in there somewhere, but I haven't got to that point yet. And I know you're talking about the badges too, which the badges are pretty cool. They're definitely added a unique feature to the game.
Yeah.
So wait, you
Um,
can have badges and powers. You can have like both.
Yeah.
So you get to pick one badge per level,
Yeah,
and then you have
and
the
then you get
powers
the
that are on each
powers
level.
inside the level. Okay.
Yeah, and I would still rather have like the cape, which I don't know if they've ever brought that back, or even
Yeah.
when he was a
Yeah, I don't know.
raccoon.
I know they did in
Yeah.
what the Super Mario the building one, which I can't think of the name right now.
Oh,
But
Mario
they have
Maker.
that in Mario Maker. They have it in that one, correct? The cape,
Yeah,
I
but,
think, is
like,
one of the options. But that doesn't
I
really
heard
count.
someone else say this, and it kind of made sense for me. It was like, I like Mario Maker, it's fun, but those are all, like custom made levels, and like half of them are just, a kid made them, so you just walk to the end, and the other half are like made by masochists who love torture, because it's like you have to become a pro level expert at the game just to beat it.
Yeah.
And so I really do cherish the Nintendo made levels, because there's a flow to it. You can tell there's passion put into it. The other thing, though, on a whole other note, is that Luigi, I mean, all the voices are different, or at least the bros.
Well, yeah, that was definitely something we noticed. I mean, I noticed with Luigi, and then you were playing as Mario. Did you notice with Mario as well?
Not as much as Mario, but Luigi stood out. Like, he sounds way different, and I don't. Because they haven't said anything, but I'm wondering if they're just doing like AI, like they bought what that, because he retired, right, and he announced it. And
yeah,
he's the first Mario ambassador, whatever that is. But I'm wondering if they just do like AI now, because they have however many samples of this guy, and they could tweak it and alter it however they want. I could be wrong.
Yeah, there is technically a cast list. So they have a Kevin Fagani as both Mario and Luigi. Samantha Kelly. I mean, so there's like a full cast list now.
Right, and he did. Oh, that's the new guy, because the other guy was.
These are the new guys. Yeah.
Okay.
He did Luigi and Mario. It's the same guy.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it does. It's a little off-putting at first. You're like, that sounds like budget Luigi. Like, what's going on? But we know it's just a new person. So and it's not that big of a deal. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess the game does run at 60 frames. It does dip from time to time. It is not a capped at a stuck at 60 frames game. Apparently it's not perfect, but I mean, I didn't notice any dips when I was playing, so it didn't really affect me at all.
Really, it's not perfect. I won't play it then. Every game has to be perfect.
But you would be playing on the Switch Lite anyways.
Yeah, for running on the Switch, this game's running fantastic. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And the Switch is a fairly powerful device for what it is, but even it is kind of we all kind of know it is behind on the specs side of things. But Nintendo still pushes them out. It's old. It is old for sure. I mean, it's sitting right there looking at me. It might get mad at me.
Oh, okay. I see.
Sits right next to my PS5. I mean, I think there's a competition between the two. But I think the most enjoyable.
The Switch.
I actually prefer the PS5 myself. I'm excited to play the Sonic game at some point whenever I get it, but I'm not going to get it until I'm done with Wonder.
Overall, the games perform exponentially better. I'm not going to argue that, but I still can't lay down on my bed and play my PS5.
Not yet. Okay. They're coming out the PS Portal.
Portal. Yeah, it's Portal.
PlayStation Portal.
Just put a TV in your ceiling, and then you can just lay down in bed.
Yeah, my wife is 100% on board for that. I can tell you that right now.
But I think the most, new thing about this title is the online capacity. This is something that I haven't really experienced in a Mario game before, and I know there's been some hiccups with both New Super Mario Brothers, where I think there was some real hiccups with the online multiplayer, and even the Mario Builder game was also having problems with the online multiplayer. But this one, because of the way they do it, I think it works out better. I mean, me and Kyle were playing online, and it was quite enjoyable. I mean, what did you think, Kyle, about that?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised at how well it ran. And there's a couple options with multiplayer. Like when you hopped in, you were basically just you weren't a ghost because you turn into a ghost when you die. You were like a shadow, so we didn't bump into each other, which was fine. But he literally like showed me like, hey, you need to go into this pipe or you need to push this thing, which was really helpful. But what Alan was telling me was that the couch co-op, you do bump into each other, which is a little.
Yes.
I think they just need to get rid of that altogether.
Yeah, the same console. They at least have an option, like an option to do it the different way, but I don't think it would work as well because even though we were in the same party, I think I could have gone to my own worlds and I could have just been playing. We could just be online playing the game together, but just doing our own save files. Yeah, so which is an interesting concept because it looked like you can have up to, I think, what did I say, 12 people when I was looking at the party size.
Oh, yeah. Crazy,
which means you could have 12 people in the same world just all playing the game together
just and wandering around.
It's actually
But you can't possibly bring 12 people into one side scroller level.
One level? I don't know. So with the way the system works, it's ghosts. So you have yourself, and then you could see other people on the thing, and you can see them interacting with stuff and jumping, but they aren't on the same thing. So if somebody jumps on something you haven't unlocked yet or popped up, you'll see them jump, but they'll jump like in the middle of the air. So it'll give you an idea of like there's something there.
But if you die in that level, the other person can bring you back.
Yes, which is actually really cool.
Which is nice. So there's it's interesting. Like you don't unlock everything, but if you do happen to mess up, the other player can be like, yeah, I'll help you out, So it's done well.
There was a puzzle that one of the first puzzles. There's like these puzzles where you have to find the 5 flowers. And I showed Kyle it while he was going through because it's fairly early, but there's one of them that's kind of tricky to find. And so I was kind of stuck in there for a bit, and I had set it to online just to see like what the prospect of online was. And so while I was in there, I saw some people coming in and going out because they would finish it and leave. And I could not find that last one. It was driving me crazy. And all of a sudden there was a Mario that just started popping up next to me because he could see me. Like he must have known like what was going on, that I was struggling, and he just started like he put like a symbol down, like you could put these little stands on. He put a little stand down, and he was like pushing back and forth on this thing I was missing, and eventually, like it finally clicked that he was literally showing me where I was stuck. He was trying to help me, and then like afterwards, like he did a little smiley face and everything, and we did a little excited thing, and then we left. But it was still a really cool little extra aspect, and I've been staying online because you get a couple people joining your games, and like Kyle said, where they can bring you back. So sometimes when you die, if you're lucky and there's a couple people that are there, you can fly over to them real quick and bring yourself back to life and things like that.
Can they mess your game up at all?
So that's the thing, is they can't really interact with your world at all. They're just on the same level as you. So it's actually a really cool idea. Now, my only concern is that obviously as the game ages, it's not going to really be a viable thing anymore. This is something that's going to be for like the beginning of the game, not like in a year or so from now. It's probably not going to be nearly as populated as it is now, but it's still an exciting experience right at the beginning.
I agree with you, except that there's the capability of DLC now, and
that's
they
true.
Can add or change levels, and
I would.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I would love that. This is something I've wanted in like Mario Kart. They did it. They kind of did what I've always kind of wanted them to do with these types of games. And it's not necessarily a live service, but it's a game that continuously expands upon itself. And the
Mhm.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did it wonderfully, where they added a bunch more levels. They added like what, two or a circuit, every couple months sometimes with a new character, things like that. I would love for them to add like a new world, maybe even just like 5 levels or so, things like that with more characters. Because one of my complaints is that you can't play as Yoshi without being on essentially easy mode, because there's Yoshi and then
Mhm.
the coin burglar, whatever his name is. But
Oh, what is his name? The purple guy? I
yeah, that purple
totally.
guy that like he's got like the bandit outfit on. But
Oh gosh, yeah. What's his name? Now it's bugging me.
yeah, he was the easy mode, and I think the new Super Mario Brothers, and same with Toadette, I think was also easy mode in that one. But in this one, it's the 4 Yoshis, 4 different color Yoshis, and then the bandit guy. So you can't play Yoshi without essentially being on easy mode. When I say easy mode, I think they can't be hurt by the enemies. So it makes it so it's a lot
Right, right.
easier to go through the game, which
Yeah,
is nice to have. I
you don't
respect
die.
that option, but don't lock it behind a Yoshi character, because I would have picked Yoshi. I mean, I ended up
Yeah.
picking Luigi, but I would have picked Yoshi. I thought that would be more fun for me personally. But
I am
eh,
surprised. Yeah, that all the Yoshis are like that. I don't know.
Well,
yes,
let's say if someone picks Yoshi, can you ride them?
no,
Oh
no,
no,
unfortunately
they
not. I
dropped
don't.
the ball on
Maybe
that one.
Maybe
Yeah,
there's a co-op
right.
mode. Maybe in the like couch co-op you can. I don't know. I didn't try that. My son ended up playing Mario and I played Luigi. But I'm
Mhm.
curious now. That might be a thing. Maybe you can. If that's the secret way to get Yoshi, except for you can't
Yeah.
control it. But I'm curious now. Now I'll have to check that out. But
So
yeah.
is
But
it is it the same idea like rescue
oh
Peach,
yeah, of
Bowser's
course.
daughter?
Those Mario games are never about story. I mean, besides the
Yeah.
the RPG ones, the regular Mario games, the side scrollers, they've never really been about the story's never been super deep. It's always been
Yeah, yeah.
pretty pretty shallow. A Bowser has transformed into a castle as the premise, and you
Oh,
have to
he's an actual castle.
he is a castle, and it kind of threw me off. My son was walking in the living room while I was playing, and he was like, "So what's Bowser?" I was like, "He's a castle." He's like, "He's an actual castle." I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "How is that like good?" I was like, "Well, you go fight a castle. Who's gonna win?" Yeah,
Well,
that's
but
what I thought.
How is
how is
that
he
hard
gonna
to understand? Come on,
yeah,
get
well,
with
how
it.
is he gonna but how is he gonna steal Peach? He has no
He's
arms.
like a floating castle. He's like a floating castle.
Okay, but floating
I
doesn't
don't
mean you
think
have
he.
arms.
I
Like
don't think he
I
kidnaps
don't.
Peach because
Yeah.
can't you
Yeah,
play
I
as
don't think
her?
he did either, because yeah, Peach is a playable character,
okay.
so he didn't steal Peach. He's just like controlling the new flower realm wherever they are.
Oh, okay.
With they're
So
like
they are
toads, but they're
diverting.
flower people. Yeah.
They are
Okay.
diverting from that story a little bit. That's okay. And here's it's silly, but remember the those flower people. So you talk to these flower people. I wasn't really following the story. I
Yeah.
actually learned a lot from Alan's synopsis right now. But their heads are they blossom and like it's like that weird feeling like nails on a chalkboard. Or I was like, I don't like that. I don't like seeing their heads bloom open. That is just the weirdest thing. I really don't like. I was joking, but I kind of don't like it at all. So just a minor complaint on that. Just an odd thing, odd choice for character.
I don't know. I think it's cute. And it doesn't bother me as much, but I guess it's to each their own.
Their own. Right.
So, but it doesn't have a lot of story, but it's a very fun game. But a game that did have a lot of story, if you don't mind me diverting, Kyle, I think we're done talking about Mario for now.
Yes, yeah, we're good.
I finally finished Final Fantasy 16, and so I wanted to talk about it a little bit. I know I did it. I went through the game. It was quite a long
Yay!
game. Yeah.
Yeah. How many hours?
Yeah, how long?
I don't know. I feel like it's more than PlayStation says, and PlayStation said I was around 60 hours, but it did not feel like
Oh
60
wow,
hours. I feel like there was more. I feel like there was more than that. That feels
interesting.
light. So, but there was a time where I was going in and out of the game, and I was noticing the time ticker wasn't moving. It's like I hadn't changed in a while, so I think there was a time where it just wasn't taking record. I don't know. But
Yeah, Yeah, maybe they pause it now.
So like,
Yeah,
okay, so this is the online one though, right?
no,
No,
this
okay.
is the new story solo game. Um, it is a new, just like every Final Fantasy, it's a new like universe and
Yeah.
world and lore. And this game is chock full of lore. So I was
Uh-huh.
trying to explain it to my family every time they'd ask, and I would say that imagine playing a third person action game that's really good. The game is really it got good mechanics and it's really fun. I don't the jumping is only for combat for doing like combos, but
Mm.
there's not and there's a lot to explore. But then imagine doing that, but also watching like two seasons of a show at the same time
Yeah, that
because
kind of
the
sounds like a
cut
lot.
scenes are fantastic, but they are a bit invasive. And they're
Mm.
like the story, I would put it up there with like Game of Thrones like quality. Like there's like this is good story. There's a lot going on here. It's very adult, which was
Mhm.
surprising for a Final Fantasy game. And it was a really good story, but there was times where I would play and all of a sudden the cutscenes would start and I was like, oh my goodness. And I don't think there was many cutscenes that I didn't just put down the controller for a bit and just was like watching. It was just like you would switch from playing mode to
Mhm.
watching mode. It was it
Okay.
was
Okay.
it was kind of frustrating sometimes, but also the story was that good that there was things that would start happening and I'd get really into it, and then obviously it would like lead
Yeah.
into a boss battle or something. But there's a lot of really good story, and the lore is there's it's so like dense. There's just so much there.
Oh.
They put so much into the lore of that world, and they have like this knowledge keeper that keeps all the information, so you can go and you can actually go through the lore. Like they have it all spread out for you, and there's
Yeah.
even like there's that, and then there's also another person who has like the story that happened in the game with all the tactical moves, so all the war the kingdoms were doing, and then even next
Mm.
to that, there's like a full family tree that shows like how all these people are connected. And I was just like, oh my goodness, you
Wow.
you could
Yeah, that
just
really they really went into it.
yeah, they went into it deep, and
Do
it
you
is a what's up?
I was gonna say, do you find that to be like you coming from someone who's played, other Final Fantasies that probably aren't that lore.
No, they're
Uh,
never that lore dense. Like they do put a lot of lore in there. Like even 15 tried, and a lot of them have put a lot of lore in there. But this one is the most dense that I've seen with lore wise. And I haven't played all the Final Fantasies, so I could be
uh-huh.
off a little bit. But at least this one, it feels there's a lot. There's a lot in there, and I didn't
Do
even
you
go
think
through it
it's
all.
too much, or do you think it's enough,
No,
or do you think
I
it's good?
mean
Like,
it's probably more than it needs to be. But at the same
uh-huh,
time, you can definitely tell they put a lot of effort into it. And
uh-huh.
so and it was like I said, it was still a really fun game as well. So
Yeah.
I was kind of throwing it out there. I don't know if I'll replay it because that was one of the big things. I got all the trophies except for beating the game again.
Oh wow.
And like max level is the other one, which you have to get on New Game Plus. But
Well
once I
done.
started doing New Game
Impressive.
Plus, yeah, but once I got to New Game Plus, I was like I started going through, I was like, yeah, I'm not ready to do this again. I'm not
Yeah, yeah.
I got a
I've
skip
had
from
that
the
kind of
cutscenes, but I was like, I just feel like this is a chore now, and I have other stuff I
yeah,
want to do. I've
yeah.
put
I've
enough
had that
time.
happen to me with
That's
games. Like,
that's most games for me. Um,
Yeah,
it's
I,
just,
I sometimes go back, like a couple of the Dark Souls. I've gone back, but
yeah,
not right away.
yeah.
no, no, no.
I need a timeout sometimes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
It was fun. It's been fun, but you need to go sit in the corner for a little bit. So,
but yeah, but this is
but I know Tomas likes to. He'll go deep into it though. New Game
Yeah,
Plus
does.
plus.
I'll play a game usually at least 2 or 3 times before I'm done with it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
definitely
but I like to go back to ones too. Like every now and then I'll get a racing itch and I'll put Need for Speed in or Crew, or there's a new Crew game coming out that I've been interested in. So
yeah.
uh, it just depends on my mood.
So, but yeah, so I really liked it, and I'm just gonna leave it there. I recommend it for anybody who's interested in a game with a lot of heavy story and some pretty good battle mechanics as well. There's also like some amazing kaiju fighting too, which is really cool. They really put a
That's
lot of
cool.
time in the primal stuff. So highly recommend it. But it's definitely one. I don't know if I'd play a second time. I don't know if I could play a second time. At least with that, maybe skipping the cutscenes. But even then, like at that point,
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you're missing a lot if you're skipping those cutscenes. So
Yeah,
it's
but if
like
you already
a
know the
big chunk of the game.
story and you
Yeah, but if
just
you already
want to
know
beat
it,
it again,
yeah.
yeah.
And this is a game too. After I finished it too, I was like, what are they? I mean, I think when it came out, they said they weren't going to do any DLC. And after beating it, I'm
Oh,
like, yeah, you shouldn't do any. This game has a perfect beginning, middle, and end. Like
that's
that's it.
good.
The story's good.
That's refreshing.
Don't
That's
touch it.
Yeah,
really cool to hear it actually. Like they
yeah,
actually
that
Yeah,
is
just
good.
like they actually made a game that doesn't need anything else. I like that. I really
yeah.
like that.
Because that was one thing with what 15, where they tried to like keep it open ended, so that way there was a bunch of stuff they could add later. Like they were like really trying to
Yeah.
keep cramming more stuff into that story, and didn't end up catching as much as they did. And even
Yeah. It
six,
didn't
you
catch
know, and I'm hearing 16, like it did really well for a Final Fantasy game, but from what I understand, that Square Enix was expecting it to do better because their games
Hmm.
haven't been hitting as hard as they've been wanting them to.
Yeah,
So they're
and
hoping
I
that it was going to be it, but
I could speak personally why I mean, I want to get it, but I can tell you why I haven't yet. And it's because their main character has looked exactly the same since oh gosh, I don't know. Maybe 12? I mean,
Hmm.
10, maybe you can even count 10. 10 was pretty unique, but like and like I know they're
well,
very
13
different.
was
Their
a
stories
female as well. I
yeah, but
mean,
like but you swap the hair and the gender and they look the
It
same.
just looks the same.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm
well,
saying.
that's just kind of like an anime thing, though. Really, I mean,
Right, and that's what I'm saying. And it, to me,
Yeah.
I see it. I'm like, okay, this. I know it's a new story. It looks good, but like, think about Final Fantasy. The difference was between Final Fantasy 8 and 9. The main character was like that. Like the dude had a tail. Like what happened to
Uh,
that? What happened to that kind of fun
yeah.
stuff? And so that's. I'm just speaking about me personally. I'm not bringing the game
Mhm.
down or anything.
yeah,
Looks great.
Yeah.
Just when I see 15 and 16, I'm like, this looks very similar if I were to
Hmm.
just look at the covers and the characters. So it seems
yeah, I
like they're
could see
kind of
it.
stuck in that, and they can't really,
I
break
just don't
out
know
and be
where
a
they
little
would
bit more imaginative.
go. Like because they did change them.
There's so
They
many
are
places.
definitely
There's so many
different.
ways. No,
Hmm.
I know, but there's so
Like
many different ways you can go.
yeah, because these two characters are very different. I can see what you're saying with the art style, but like this guy's much more bigger built, and he has like the facial hair and everything. But he is kind of a white looking guy with black hair, so I can understand that.
Right.
But yeah, so I mean, I agree. When I was going through it, I did kind of feel like they are imitating like a European medieval style. You definitely can tell they're going for that, which I mean, that's why you get a lot of white people. But
Hmm.
it does feel like you have the white male. That's one thing I've been noticing more and more. That's like it's a lot of the protagonists are always like white males, and it's just kind of like a thing. And it would be nice to get more, more
Right.
different, more diverse.
But
Yeah.
So
like
I agree.
throw some gills on him, or I don't
Yeah.
know, like some
Fins.
claws.
Oh my goodness.
Like yeah, because like I mean, love or hate it, Final Fantasy 9 was just so fun and
I've never
like it
played
was like
Final Fantasy
going in,
9 to be honest. So
but it's like you going into a fantasy world that you've never you could never think of before. Well, this one is yes, if fantasy world's like yeah, but I've seen the whole European knighthood and stuff.
Oh.
You know what I
it's
mean?
true.
Like
Yeah, that is true.
that's all I'm getting at, and that's why
No,
it's not a big appeal to me.
yeah, I
Mm.
get it. And that's one thing I was a little hesitant about too. I mean, it was a fantastic story. You definitely could tell that Yoshida was really stuck on one specific thing. Like he wanted to do this like more darker medieval fantasy style. But yeah, it has been done to the ground. I mean, just look over at Lords of the Fallen. I mean, that game is another medieval fantasy game, correct?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not much different. I will say, as far as Lords of the Fallen goes, in terms of like a dark medieval, like if you were to essentially combine Dark Souls 2 with Dark Souls 3, I think you have about the level of medieval dark fantasy that you're expecting.
Okay, I was like, you're combining two Dark Souls. This is like Dark Souls 1.5. Is that what you're getting?
You mean like the difficulty, or what do you mean by that? I'm
I
curious.
mean
I think
by
it was
like
about the theme, right? Theme.
yeah, very much the theme, the style, the castles, the city that you end up going
So
to, the
when
little
you're playing this
icy
game,
hills.
and obviously we're gonna get to how you like it or not, but like what about this game makes it so you don't just go play Dark Souls 3 instead? Is it just because it's a different game?
So I would say the story is definitely different.
Well, yeah, it's a different game, so that makes
It
sense.
is more focused on. It has a more religious theme to it than the Dark Souls did.
Oh, really? You got
Okay.
interest now.
There's a lot of the Crusaders, the Dark Crusaders, the Knights Penitent, the head mother, is it Scholar or something like that. And the themes are the armor themes are very type of like Crusader or Spanish Inquisition style.
Oh, cool! Really, I am like
Yeah.
so into that right now.
So you have like the kind of like poofy pants with the helmet and the feather, or you can go like old school 13th century Crusader with the bucket helm and the Templar cross, and you know, it has its typical Dark Souls stuff like big weapons and crazy looking weapons. I would say though that it has, man, it's got some things in it though that just it kind of feels
Say it.
unfortunate. It kind of feels unfortunate because this is supposed to be like a remake, right? So it feels like you should have taken all the things that were wrong in the first one and fixed them in here in the second one. And I don't feel like they did, because like, especially for example, targeting is a nightmare in that game. Like you will lock on to someone.
That's a bummer.
You will lock on to someone and it will shift to someone else, and it is virtually impossible to get back to the person that you had originally locked onto. And sometimes when you unlock someone and you try to lock someone else, it takes me 3 or 4 clicks to try and get it to lock. Like, come on, he's right in front of me. He's right here. And I got hit.
I hate that.
Yeah, so that's a lot where like the Dark Souls 2 comes to me. Is I remember Dark Souls 2 being kind of frustrating like that, was shifting the target on me and like driving me nuts.
But I don't remember that with Dark Souls 2. I've played games where
I remember that
frustrating.
I remember that in 2. I know that like in 3 it felt like they really cleaned that up, but in 2 it felt
3,
like I would get bumped off onto someone else all the time.
3 was way better. I will admit.
In 2, I will say, Kyle, in 2 it was easier to bring your target marker back onto the person.
Right, like you could fix it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
so is this an open world game, or is it just like is it more like the Dark Souls regular ones? So it's like Elden Ring, or is it like Dark Souls?
Yeah, it's less like Elden Ring and more like Dark Souls, where there are set locations that you are trying to travel through. They give you a map that is useless.
So when was the last Dark Souls title? Like, how long has it been? Is this company? Is this company taking the opportunity to scratch that itch that FromSoft is not attempting to scratch?
Well, I mean, FromSoft gave Elden Ring, and apparently their
Elden Ring's like an
DLCs are
open world title, right? That's
yeah,
the kind of
yeah.
it definitely changes a lot of things when you
I
add that
I
aspect.
haven't played Armored Core 6, so I don't know how Armored Core
Well, it's like
6 is
mechs,
Oh
though.
yeah,
set up. Yeah,
I'm just saying
yeah,
because this is like the
but
medieval
that's what From
fantasy.
Software did. From
yeah,
Software did that one. Is all he's saying.
yeah. But
Yeah.
in terms of the medieval fantasy, Alan, yeah, let me see. Yeah, I think their last one was Dark Souls 3 that wasn't open world, was Dark Souls 3, because after that they did Elden Ring, and let me see, there's been a lot of games that have tried to duplicate
And
it. Lies of P, Remnant. Oh wait, they did Sekiro.
Well, I would,
They did.
that's
yeah, I just
true.
kind of because this one feels like you keep mentioning Dark Souls, so I'm just wondering if because I think FromSoft was
They
very
definitely.
heavily trying to lean away from Dark Souls to do other things, even if
Yeah,
the mechanics are similar. They're different themes, different styles,
yeah,
and it seems
fair
like
enough.
there was another game that came out a while ago that we got for free on PlayStation. I don't remember what it was called, but it looked like another Dark Souls title. And when I looked
Well,
it up,
there's
people were complaining about it because it was definitely it wasn't as good and things like that. And so I was just wondering if this is just another. If this, not be negative. I'm just saying, is this
yeah,
another
yeah,
title trying to fix scratch the itch that
yeah.
FromSoft kind of left?
Yeah, I would say that I believe they are. I get, like I said, playing it, I was like, well, this is Dark Souls 2 slash Dark Souls 3. I mean, it's a lot of the same dark body morphic enemies that are huge, and or these knights that are freaking stupid, and then you take their armor and it's not as good as the, but it is very much that Dark Souls itch, yes, Alan, where you're running around a map going, have I been here before? I don't remember if I've been here before. Oh boy, I got to go back now. Where in Dark Souls 3 there wasn't such a compact level. Like Dark Souls 2, that's another thing that reminds me of Dark Souls 2, Kyle, with this is it's very much almost like
Mm,
everything is right on top of each other.
yeah,
So like you move to here, you do this, and then that unlocks something and takes you back down there, and then that unlocks
yeah.
some,
You
you
could
know what
get a
I mean?
shortcut to
Like,
this place. Yeah,
yeah. Whereas Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring were very much like, no, do this, clear it out, move here, do this, clear it out, move here. Uh,
you know what drove me crazy about Dark Souls 2 was the jump was
oh,
was
yeah,
the stick button.
yeah.
It
The
just
jump is the jump is X on this, which is nice.
okay.
They
Yeah.
they, they fixed that.
Oh,
The,
that
the
was
one thing that
insane.
the one thing that drives me nuts about it is, okay, so you remember in Dark Souls, I think it was as early as the first one, maybe it didn't start till 2. But remember, you could hold down your dodge button, and that would get you to run.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
In this one, you hold down the analog stick, like you click it down, and that gets you to run, right?
I see.
And
Yeah.
it's great when you're moving through the terrain, but when you need to climb a ladder, you have no idea how many times I've just gone slowly up the ladder because I'm like, I'm clicking this. I'm not, no.
Oh gosh, yeah. I thought we solved the
but
ladder situation in video games, but
but
apparently not.
here's my one other kind of down bad critique on this game is the multiplayer is amazing. It's what Elden Ring should have done. You can go anywhere with your ally, everywhere with your ally. You warp somewhere, your ally warps with you. You go, it's perfect. You go into a boss room, your ally doesn't leave when you defeat the boss.
Oh,
They're
that's so
still with
nice.
you.
That's yeah,
Like,
that's a huge bonus.
yeah, it's great in that sense. It's terrible in the sense of it's it's
Oh
like
boy.
it's like you guys get stuck to each other. It's the weirdest thing. Like I will be running sometimes, and Bri, who I'll be playing with, will be of another friend of ours, will be running next to me, and I swear to God, dude, it looks like our characters are just slowly connecting to each other. and then you get stuck next to each other and you try to run around the other one, and it becomes that awkward moment when someone steps in front of you, you go, oh wait, excuse me, and you step to the left and they step to the left and you're like, oh my bad, excuse me. You step to the right and they step to the right. It becomes that kind of a dance, and it can get so frustrating, especially like when you're in the middle of a boss fight and you're both now stuck to each other and you're like, you go left, I go right, oh crap, now we're stuck, and bam, we're both dead. It's just so
It's got some Three Stooges omens
yeah.
going on. Yeah.
So the multiplayer is great in that you can take your people with you wherever you go. But
Do they progress with you, or is it just
yes.
your? Oh, okay, that's great.
Everything except for key story items you'll pick up with the other person. So
Nice.
so you can't upgrade your potions because that's key story item, but you can upgrade weapons. You'll find the things you need to upgrade weapons. You can't do any of the lantern upgrades because that's a key hit story thing. But so other than the lantern and the health potions, you can do everything with the partner. I think you can even do
Very cool.
the little mirage things. Like there are these like mirage things that you like connect onto, and then they tell you the story of what's happening. And I believe you can even do those as an ally. As an ally, you can activate what's called vestiges. They're essentially your bonfires. So if your ally who's in charge of the party is like being swamped by all these guys, you can like run to the vestige and activate it. You know, like
Nice.
yeah, it's really good. The parrying is not as hardcore as Dark Souls either. It's a little more forgiving, which is nice. I've started to actually do a lot of parrying in it because I'm doing my sword and board, of course. So, but yeah, I recommend it, Kyle. I'd play it with you. Imogen's been watching me play it. She has some interest in it. The one thing, like I said, though, is story is convoluted. I don't even know what I'm
I
doing.
love it. Oh, sign me up. I am a sucker because it makes me feel like I'm smart when I finally figure it out. Even though this is probably just poorly written.
Yeah. The graphics feel a little dated. The controls feel a little dated, but in terms of accessibility with your friends, in terms of story, and in terms of getting you that Dark Souls itch, it definitely does that.
Cool.
I would highly recommend it.
I'm probably gonna wait for a sale.
Yeah,
either digital or whatever, because there's just so much, right? Like I have Spider-Man and I don't even have time.
Yeah, see, I went the opposite way than you. I got this before Spider-Man, and now I'm just like, I gotta beat this, and then I'll go get Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, maybe we'll end up on the same path because I'm playing right. I'm playing Mario Wonder right now, so maybe we'll all three beat it at the same time, and we could talk about Spider-Man 2.
And Alan, Alan, offer a stance, man. You want someone to pull you through Lords of the Fallen? I can do it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I said, if it's on sale, like how Kyle said, but yeah,
well, yeah,
yeah.
But it is only 2-player co-op, which is kind of a bummer because I know
that sucks.
3-player. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, Alan, you're not going to play it anyways. I'd love if you did.
At the moment, I have no intent at the moment, but we'll see.
There's just too much coming out, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot out right now.
I got Baldur's Gate 3 I want to get through.
Yeah,
and Spider-Man at some point, and Mario Wonder. So
and like you guys said, Alan Wake, and then
Alan Wake 2. I don't know when I'm going to go play that.
Right.
I believe it's going to be early this year also that the Elden Ring DLC comes out.
You mean next year?
Yeah, next year. Sorry.
I know that's a far ways away.
I almost sold that game.
Yeah, I mean, but when you think about it, when you think about it stacked with all the other games, because I think it comes out in like February or something.
What is the DLC going to be? I mean,
it's
something usually, the Erd Tree.
Their DLC is pretty good. Like,
But
Yeah,
what
they're
sucks though is
worth it.
I finished the game already and then I started over, and I didn't get very far. So we got to beat the game again to do the DLC.
Well,
no,
I'll
you
get
do
you
not.
there, and yeah, you usually don't need to.
You don't need to beat it again, but you might need like a refresher.
You might need to get some levels.
But
but-
I've found that their DLC is like
Yeah.
phenomenal, like surpassed anything I could ask for.
Yeah, I've always loved their DLCs.
Because
Did you do the Coliseum DLC or whatever?
I mean, I've played since the Coliseum came out. I didn't fight anyone in the Coliseum or anything. So
Chicken.
no, I haven't gotten to try
he's
it
afraid.
out. Yeah, I mean,
Scared.
honestly,
Okay, gotcha.
there are some people in there,
Dude,
man,
yeah.
I'm just terrified of.
There's people that I've watched stream, and that's all they do. They just do
Yeah.
the online. Like they made one in. There's a level on Dark Souls 3 that they just turn it into a Coliseum, and people will they'll summon them in, and they'll just wait. They'll just
Mhm.
wait as a.
Oh, is
As a
that what
red
it is?
spirit.
You like fight people? You like fight other people?
Yeah,
Is it
yeah.
PvP?
Oh, it's
Yeah, yeah.
huge. Like only because the fans made it that way. It was never.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was never really a thing, but in Dark Souls 3, the fans made it a thing. Like you could go into someone's game and mess around with them. Like that was the intent, but people
Mhm.
made it into a Coliseum where they wait in the sidelines, last man standing wins.
Yep.
I was talking about the Coliseum on Elden Ring. Is that also
Yeah,
just a
no.
PvP thing?
Yes, that is
Yeah,
also a PvP
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. I thought.
It-
Oh, okay. It is a PvP. Okay, I thought it was just. I thought it was some sort of like boss
No, it's
rush
not
or
extra
something. I don't know. I didn't know what it was.
No, yeah, but February 5th is when the new DLC comes out.
Well,
For
I won't
Elden Ring,
remember
which is
that.
right
So,
around the corner.
are they charging
So
for
you
it,
think
or is
about
it free?
Of course.
I don't
Yes,
know.
They are.
Well, they released one of them free on 3.
Yeah,
didn't
the
they?
Coliseum was free, but that was if you're just saying it was a Coliseum that's for PvP. Well, that
No,
checks.
but I feel like on 3 they released one of them for free.
I don't remember because I think I bought like the complete version of 3
Mm,
by the time I actually got it. I remember I played it
Yeah.
at your house first, and I was like, I have to get this. But I straight out bought all of it for number 2. Like I usually don't do
Yeah.
that, and I just straight up bought it all, and I was not dissatisfied. I was really happy with it. So
Yeah, I've bought all of them for every single one of them, and I've beaten it all the way through on every single one of them.
I
I've
didn't know
never been
you beat
disappointed.
2 eventually. You were
Yeah, I did with Imogen.
nice.
I finally ran through it.
That's
with
still
her.
my favorite one. You have to run through it with somebody though. You really do.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just
And
just
3
torture.
3 is still hands down my favorite one. I liked Elden Ring a lot, but it was too big
Yeah,
at points.
yeah. Too
So
sprawling.
3 has been by far my favorite.
Yeah, it really they did the work up to it, and they fixed
Yeah.
all the stuff from the first 2, and it was good.
Yeah, and the way it ties into the first one, it felt really good
Mhm.
too. Like,
Yeah, to revisit some of those locations.
yeah,
that was
Yeah.
fun. So that ends
But-
our Dark Souls
Yeah.
cast.
I think that was
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little nuts on the FromSoft and Fallen,
yeah.
whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of it. Lords of the Fallen. There it is.
Your brain stopped braining.
Yeah, I keep forgetting the title of that game. I've tried to mention it or talk about it randomly at times, and I cannot remember the title. Or I think I was looking it up at one point too.
You just call it Loft. You want to get on the Loft?
Get on the
Loft. That's what
I guess.
I don't even own it.
What about the
I'm just
T?
making stuff up.
But yeah,
Of the Fallen. Yeah, you got me there. The lot F.
Lot F.
I don't know.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Before we go, anybody going to see FNAF on Friday? Video game movie coming out? Horror
Absolutely
movie?
not. No,
Absolutely not.
I'm waiting for streaming.
Nights at Freddy's.
I'll watch it. On streaming.
I kind of want to see it, but I don't know if I'll see it. I don't know if I'll see it in theaters. I do kind of want to see it, but I don't know if I'll see it.
It looks. I mean, you know what you're getting into. Are you seeing
it's
it?
Blue. It's yes. Bloomhouse Productions, which is actually a really good horror studio, a very unique horror studio. They
Uh-huh.
made Megan. They also did the Purge movies,
I haven't seen
and they
Megan. I
did
won't touch
Black
Megan.
Phone.
Okay.
There's some other ones
Okay.
they've done too.
I did see Black Phone.
They've done
with
some really good horror
Jason.
movies that have been very unique
Yeah.
and original, which has been nice. And
Yeah.
also, Jim Henson Puppet Studio is doing the puppeteering. So, two
Yeah,
heavy
it
hitters
looks-
in it is what I'm saying. So
it
that's
looks
actually pretty
well
good.
done. It looks well
Mhm.
done, but at the same time, like you know what's
Have
getting into.
either of you seen?
I hope
have
you
either of
enjoy
you
it.
seen Megan though.
I hope I did. I have not seen
No.
Megan. That's one of the ones
I-
I've missed some reason.
It-
For
it
some
got-
reason.
Mediocre reviews.
See, the thing is okay. You guys remember Dead Silence, that movie with the ventriloquist
Yeah,
dummies?
I remember that.
Right?
That
Yeah.
silly
I
thing.
feel like Megan's that silly thing that terrified me. Okay,
Okay, that's fine.
Dummies was terrified.
All
No,
right.
but
I know
feel
how to
like
get
the
to you now.
Megan, I feel like the Megan thing is going to be the same way for me. Like I feel like if I watch that, I'm gonna be like, no, this is
It
unnatural.
looks creepy, but
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to. I mean,
it looks a little too
I just-
far. And it
I
got
don't even know what it
mediocre reviews,
was,
so, yeah.
but when I went to Universal Studios Horror Nights, we actually went into this Blumhouse thing where they kind of showed off a bunch of
Was
props
she
in the
running around?
movies. And then, there was like a whole Megan performance. And I was like, what is Megan? So I had to look it up. And I was like, oh, it's a movie I just never saw. Not that I'm like,
I did see Black Phone, and that I can recommend that. That was actually a really good movie.
Yeah, Black Phone is really
by
good.
The end of it, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Black Phone
Kyle,
is
if
really
you're
good.
looking for a good horror movie, you should see that. It's good.
Yeah.
I
Um,
did. That one's good.
Oh, okay.
Blumhouse has done some really good, more unique horror movies, which is nice because most horror movies seem to be linked to something else. So,
or it's all about the over. See, the thing is, like, I don't really like the Saw movies, and I don't really consider them horror movies. either, because
Really?
it's all
Oh,
about
you-
pain and
You think it's
BDSM.
just
Yeah,
straight
the-
gore?
yeah, it's just all gore.
I think the first Saw movie
The
standalone.
first one was good.
Yes,
Is
first
good.
one's
one was
great.
good.
I even got through 4 of them before I gave
Yeah,
up, but I think
Same.
I saw
No,
2.
I
I
know.
think I got to
2 was as far
6,
as I
dude.
went.
Because
Yeah.
it was just like,
Wow.
it became like whoever I was
just like
dating at
murder
the time.
porn is that
It
what
was
they're
like
calling?
it was like a tradition. And
Yeah,
then
no, I
we went through
understand.
number 6 and we're like, what are we doing? Like, I did not
Yeah.
enjoy the last 2. Why are we paying money for this? So,
Yeah.
and then, I thought they completed it with 7, but then he's back because, we got a reboot. So it's like,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean,
There's-
franchises can't die, man. They
There's
gotta
Saw
keep
video
going.
games, out there
No, really?
for
Wow.
for 360. Yeah, there's 2 of them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Terrible.
All right, well, I threw
All right,
some
yeah.
Halloween stuff in there for everybody because Halloween's in 5 days.
That's right, dude. I am
Yeah.
in holiday mode. Like, not like personally, but for my business. I'm like already feel
Yeah.
like I need to sell, and I'm like I forget Halloween's still coming. So enjoy it.
Yeah, Halloween's coming. I'm excited for it. I mean, I haven't really watched many horror movies recently, so I'm hoping that FNAF will be that one at least. But we will see you in 2 weeks. That is our plan. We missed last week for some scheduling issues, but I got COVID, and I think Tomas also got sick, so there was some issues. But I think we're going to continue doing our bi-weekly, so we'll see you in 2 weeks. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you on the next cast. See you later.
See you on the Lords of Fallen.
Bye.